On the 31st May of 2024, Jason Topolsky, the creative director at Steelwool Studios, gave an interview to John FNAF. There were a lot of interesting points raised in this interview, but my personal interest was perked up by this particular moment.
So there's things in the game that you purposely put there that no one has really picked up on yet.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the thing, is that there are things that are, maybe not paid off yet.
Yeah.
Oh. There are things that may happen in the future, and then things might make sense.
And that got me thinking, what strange moments of Security Breach might pay off in the future? Or what mysteries are still unsolved and might get a resolution later? We are not talking about what is the canon ending of Ruin, or who survived and who didn't. Answers for that will be given in the future installments one way or another. Or the answers are gonna be heavily implied, like it was with Princess Quest. No, here we're talking about much more complex questions and mysteries. That, truth be told, might never be solved. Let's not waste time and begin with the start of Security Breach. How Gregory was freed from Mimic's control. This is the biggest hole in the story of Security Breach that we have at the moment. In the events of GGY, we see how Gregory was mind-controlled and how he changed Glamrock's code. At the same time, he was rightfully suspected by his school therapists in being involved in hacking of the Pizzaplex itself. Still controlled by the Mimic, he got rid of everyone who could expose him. And the next thing we know is how he is hiding inside Freddy, controlled by the Mimic no longer. And he clearly lost his memories. That's quite a jump from one circumstance to another, and there is very little information to even suggest what could have happened. But since Vanessa was bounded to the Princess Quest arcades, one of the theories is that Gregory was bounded to the Balloon World arcade in the daycare. This boils down to a question: how much free will does a person has when controlled by Glitchtrap or Mimic? Because I doubt that they would let Gregory play this arcade so he could free himself. And in the GGY it's not clear if he has any free will at all. Meanwhile, Vanessa seems to have some sort of free will, until she suddenly snaps to her whiny counterpart. I hope this will be cleared in the future and we will at least be able to narrow down the possibilities of what have happened. If Vanessa indeed had much more leeway, then she could have freed Gregory in hope to save him and that maybe he will find a way to free her later. But if this mind control is strong enough to at least prevent Gregory and Vanessa from doing certain actions, then the only character that is known to us who could have freed Gregory is Jeremy. And this is just an uncharted territory for us, since we know almost nothing about Jeremy. Why has Freddy glitched? This second mystery with Freddy glitching must be close connected to the mystery about Gregory being freed. There's a lot of presumptions that it might have been Gregory who caused Freddy to glitch. However, for that he must have been already free. This all must have happened in one night, since Gregory doesn't give an expression that he sneaked in here. He doesn't know how the Pizzaplex works, even the most basic stuff. If he was freed in some other night and now he just returned, he would need this basic information to navigate the Pizzaplex. But instead it feels like he just woke up somewhere inside and has no idea what is going on. This again ties up with the mystery of how he was freed. If Gregory freed himself, then Freddy's glitch could have been also his doing, in an attempt to turn him into an ally. Or if he was freed by either Vanessa or Jeremy, they might have been behind Freddy's glitch, trying to raise Gregory's chances of survival. Of course, it could be that Freddy just glitched because he is a prototype. But honestly, that's kinda boring. While these two mysteries are separate from each other, they take the same place on the timeline, creating one big hole between GGY and the beginning of Security Breach. So I hope this will be brought up in the future, because right now too much stuff is left to interpretation. Staff meeting. If you were exploring the Pizzaplex thoroughly, you could have noticed that several notes across the building have a similar theme, talking about a staff meeting in the cafeteria, that there's gonna be cake and to not be late. If you go to the cafeteria, well, looks like everything went very bad for those who went here. It is implied that this was a setup by Vanessa to get rid of employees who were starting to suspect something. And presumably this staff meeting happened in the same night as everything else. The main reasoning here is that I doubt that nobody would notice during the working day that the cafeteria is an absolute disarray. And Vanessa also drops this line.
You're in big trouble. This is not the night to be wasting my time.
that doesn't necessarily mean anything specific, but it just implies that this night might be different from the others. When Security Breach just came out, there was a theory that the employees who were at this meeting were turned into nightmare staff bots. This theory became much more realistic, as we can see how this transformation happens with Jeremy in the ending of Help Wanted 2. This staff meeting doesn't look like a big deal, and probably doesn't have that much significance for the overall story. Unless we are going with the theory that this meeting was supposed to be a trap for Jeremy, which he dodged and then freed Gregory. But that's only a speculation. Sticky Notes Room. A room that connects sewers with laundry, and has a lot of colorful notes and drawings. At first it was assumed that these drawings were made by either Vanny or GGY, but right now the most plausible version is that they were made by the Mimic, because these drawings look like they were made by a 5-year-old, which is much closer to the Mimic with his connection to David, for whom he was built. The contents of these drawings also hints to them being made by the Mimic. Some of them have an ice cream, some a red ball, some just a binary code. Since we have a strong assumption that the Mimic was sitting in this room at some point, it's not much of a secret or a mystery, but it would have been great to have some sort of a confirmation. Maybe we could see in the future how Mimic is gonna be drawing similar notes, or how he will make a similar room. Burntrap and Tangle. Oh, that's a spicy one, isn't it? Well, sorry to say, but this is the Mimic. We can confirm it with both his description from the tales and Ruin having no Burntrap inside, because it was a course correction after Security Breach. But Tangle actually exists. This giant amalgamation of either Williams or Mimic's victims has caused the destruction of the Pizzaplex, and we can see it once in Ruin. If Ruin was a course correction, and yet we still saw Tangle in it, I think it's safe to assume that we will see it again. What role will it play, who knows? But it seems to really hate the Mimic, or that the Mimic looked like William. Now we are done with Security Breach and we are moving to the Ruin. Events between Security Breach and Ruin. While exploring the Ruin at Pizzaplex, it becomes apparent that there was a time skip. And in this time skip, two things have happened. One, Fazbear Entertainment were definitely trying to repair this place. You can see the construction equipment in every attraction, forklifts, fences, lights, crates, and other traces of workers' activity. However, apparently, all attempts were ceased and everything was left just lying around. And one can only wonder why. Has Fazbear Entertainment just decided to cut the losses and abandon this place? Or something has stopped workers from doing their job? The workers have reached every part of the Pizzaplex that we see, so they would definitely encounter ruined Glamrocks. But it looks like nobody tried to repair them. Guess nobody cared enough. I doubt that Glamrocks could have been the reason for the work to be stopped, because out of all of them, only Monty can be called the aggressive one. This returns us to the fact that we saw Tangle at the beginning of Ruin, and I think it's our main suspect for all the troubles that workers might have faced. But we will never know for sure unless in the future someone will tell us why Fazbear Entertainment has halted the operation. The second thing that has happened between Security Breach and Ruin is Gregory and Vanessa sealing the Mimic. Gregory has left his bag and his walkie-talkie near the room in which they lured the Mimic in. Then they reactivated and upgraded MXES, but that's all that we know. We can only speculate how exactly that happened and what was their plan afterwards. Considering the importance of Gregory and Vanessa, it's safe to assume that we will see them again, and it's gonna be strange if they will never mention this at least once. Chica's Voicebox. Cassie wins Chica's Voicebox in the arcade of Chica's Feeding Frenzy, and later gives this Voicebox back to Chica after she falls inside the bathroom. It doesn't help Chica much and she falls again, but now with her voice restored. Maybe this was just a small side quest for us to give us an opportunity to help her, or maybe it was a setup for something in the future. Her death is unconfirmed, more like she is out of power. So technically she can return and with her voice intact. But a more difficult question is how this voice box got inside the arcade machine in the first place. It's not the voice box that Gregory has installed into Freddy, and this arcade already worked strange before Security Breach, judging by this message. And it is unknown if it was related to this voice box. Right now it's just one of those small moments that doesn't really make sense and might never ever be addressed again. Server Room. This is a room Cassie enters before the Glamrock Beauty Salon. And what's interesting about this room is that you are not allowed to get off the air mask. For some reason, the Mimic decided that he must lock Cassie in the mask. And in the entire game, it's the only time when he does it. What could Cassie possibly learn in this room that the Mimic didn't wanted her to know? What could incriminate him that he was ready to risk Cassie's life, when she is the only one who can set him free? This server room consists of several rooms connected with each other, and all of them are very large. But it all might not be real, since we are in the mask. The room also has this effect of a heartbeat, as if we are in the heart of the Pizzaplex itself. This room is my favorite question mark in this video, but we probably never gonna return to this Pizzaplex, and so the mystery of this room has a high chance to be never solved. Yeah, that's kinda it. I'm just wondering here what was this all about. We can't visit this room with the mask, so Cassie might be hallucinating here because of the chip. But it also could be just an Easter egg. However, in this room you can also see this on the wall. Apparently someone was locked here for a long time, and counted the days spent. I saw theories that it could have been Gregory when he was GGY. But it's kinda out of nowhere, just like the room itself. Whatever is the meaning of this room, there's really not enough to suggest anything, which is why I put it in this video. The decommission of Bonnie. What happened to Bonnie and why is still a mystery, and the importance of this mystery is unknown. In the past I made a video recapping all the stuff that we know about his disappearance, and since then nothing has changed. Why he was killed and not replaced by another Bonnie, why Monty did it, and who was the mastermind behind this, if there was one, are still questions that are present. But some of them might be answered in the upcoming interactive novel Escape the Pizzaplex. If there won't be any answers, then it is most likely that this case will remain cold forever. Now, we are done with the main list of mysteries that might get a payoff one day. But there's also a few of them that have a very high chance of being answered in the Secret of the Mimic this year. Tape room and strange symbols. Security Breach has a secret room where you can listen to the tapes about Vanessa and Patient 46, aka Gregory. But we are not interested in the tapes here. We are interested in this wall, where someone has drawn these triangles. This symbol seems to be very closely tied to the Mimic and his creator Edwin Murray. It appears to be some sort of a logo for Murray Corp, as we saw in the free update for Help Wanted 2. And these symbols Edwin drew before he died inside the Storyteller. But why this symbol is so important is unclear, and we most certainly will learn it in the Secret of the Mimic. Costumes in the End of Ruin. In the End of Ruin DLC, when entering the room where Mimic was closed, you can see in the darkness some old costumes that we never saw before. From the words of those who played the Secret of the Mimic demo at PAX West, these costumes and characters that they represent will be present in the Secret of the Mimic. The question here is, why are these costumes here? One of the theories is that this place is actually the remains of a factory that the events of Secret of the Mimic will take place in. But it's kinda bizarre to have so many places from different games to be built on top of each other. Then it must mean that someone, for whatever reason, has moved these costumes here under the FNAF 6 pizzeria. MXES. MXES is a security system that was created to contain the Mimic. It was definitely created a long time ago, and yet again, just like with the costumes, someone has moved it here under the FNAF 6 location. There's also a question of who created it, with the most popular option being of course Edwin. In the free update of Help Wanted 2, we are literally sending MXES back to the Secret of the Mimic, so we will definitely learn its origins. The Scooper. Scooper Room is a secret room and a secret engine of Ruin, where you lure Mimic inside this room and the Scooper tries to get his endo out of the costume. But where did this Scooper came from? It could be that it was moved here like costumes and MXES, but it's also possible that it was built here on the spot. I feel like the last 3 points can be all united in one point, Things from Secret of the Mimic somehow end up in ruin. Fallfest. Fallfest is an unknown event that is being teased by Steelwool for a very long time. And presumably something bad has happened at this event. Something related to the Mimic. With the amount of teasers to this Fallfest and its carnival theme, Secret of the Mimic might show us what was this all about. This is all that we have for today. Write in the comments what do you think I missed, or what in this list sounds more interesting to you. Thank you for watching. Press like and subscribe if you liked this video, watch another one if you want to. Good luck and I'll see you again soon.